American tourists in the western part of Mexico are stranded after the death of a notorious cartel leader caused widespread violence yesterday. The unrest erupted after Mexican forces killed El Mencho, the country's most wanted cartel boss and head of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. The aftermath saw suspected cartel members torching buses and businesses, blocking highways, and clashing with security forces across multiple states. Multiple airlines have suspended flights to cities to and from Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara, with many routes not resuming until at least Wednesday. A Fayetteville woman is one of the many Americans still stuck in Mexico and sheltering in place. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer joining us now after speaking with her and has what she's been seeing on the ground. Lauren, my goodness.
Yeah, she's describing all of this as surreal. It was Misha Gardner's first time to Puerto Vallarta. She's been there since Wednesday and was supposed to fly back home tonight from her trip. But now she's stuck at her resort, unable to fly home. And she's just taking things hour by hour.
It's a paradise here, so it's a really surreal to be scared in a beautiful place.
What was meant to be a girl's trip to celebrate her best friend's birthday quickly turned into something much different.
We were out wandering the markets the day before, and there was plenty of people out. No one seemed alarmed.
She says she woke up Sunday morning to her resort not allowing anyone to leave, with signs warning of vehicle blockades and fires across different areas of Puerto Vallarta.
And I don't think we understood the severity of it and how long it could go on. Now it feels a little bit more somber.
By Monday, she says things began to look different. Road crews were clearing debris, taxis were back on the streets, and the sky was clear.
Early in the morning, the sky was black. You couldn't see downtown from where we were. About 3 or 4, it had cleared up, and now it's really looks like nothing's happened.
Gardner has been documenting the experience on social media, aiming to bring awareness to what's happening.
It's hard for me to see such beautiful people getting harmed by their own people.
Senator John Bozeman said his office is aware that a constituent is sheltering in place in Mexico, and they're, quote, working to provide support, including through outreach to the State Department, until such time as a safe return to the U.S. is possible. Congressman Steve Womack says his office is also working to ensure those affected have information and resources needed to get home. And for Gardner, she says she's thankful for the resort staff and the friends they've made along the way.
In times like this, you see the humanity. We're good people and we want to help each other.
Gardner's booked on a flight back to Arkansas this coming Sunday and says she's staying at her hotel and doing everything she can to stay safe. Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Wow. All right, Lauren, thanks. Appreciate that. Benton County manslaughter case has ended today with a guilty plea. Alejandro Zenon Reyes was charged in the death of 17-year-old Alexis Wynn. Wynn was killed in 2022 while in a car with Zenon Reyes. An eyewitness says Zenon Reyes was playing with a handgun when it fired and shot Wynn in the head. He then fled to Mexico and was extradited back to the U.S. last January. Today, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison with a 9-year suspended sentence. You can read about the family's reaction on our website at 5newsonline.com. In Van Buren, a man arrested and is accused of 2 attempted robberies last week. 57-year-old Jeff Dye was arrested on Saturday. A police affidavit says Dye unsuccessfully tried to rob a married couple walking on a trail at Lake Luema. Court documents say he then tried to rob someone with a knife a day later at the Arkansas Welcome Center off I-40. The victim fled, or he fled, after the victim pulled a pistol on him. Police say video of the suspect helped lead police to Dye.
Approximately midday, Sergeant Richardson spotted a man who he believed to be the male from the video. The suspect detained him. We were able to interview him. He confirmed and corroborated all the details that the victims had provided. He was subsequently arrested for 2 counts of attempted aggravated robbery.
Dye is being held in the Crawford County Justice Center on a $500,000 bond. At the Arkansas Capitol, lawmakers approved an audit of the Benton County Circuit Clerk's Office. That audit will look into how the clerk's office assigns cases to the county's 7 judges. They sent a letter to the Arkansas Audit Committee several weeks ago asking for this investigation. It all comes after there was a mix-up about who was the right judge in the capital murder case for Amber Waterman. One judge presided over the case for 3 years. But a different judge was initially assigned to the case and took it back over in January. A report on the audit is expected at a future committee meeting next month. The Arkansas Department of Human Services has announced new requirements for people on part of a state Medicaid program. The Our Home program uses Medicaid funds to buy private health insurance for enrollees. Enrollees will now be required to work, volunteer, or go to school for at least 20 hours a week. The state is following a new federal law that all Medicaid programs must have work requirements. If you are in the program, DHS will begin sending automated checks to notify if you are either meeting or not meeting those requirements or just outright exempt from it. It all begins in July and penalties take effect at the start of next year. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says there's more and more tourists coming to the natural state these days, and Arkansas is seeing more revenue because of it. Governor delivered an update on tourism numbers at a conference today in Little Rock. She said 52 million people came to Arkansas last year, spending more than $10 billion. Both of those setting new state records. The Arkansas Parks and Tourism Department says the state sees multiple benefits from that.
People who came to experience our trails, our rivers, our parks, our downtowns, and the authentic character of our communities. Tourism and outdoor recreation are not just amenities. They are economic drivers that support jobs, fuel small businesses, and strengthen communities across our state.
That conference also highlighted the major tourism projects in the works statewide. One state leader says communities across the state are working to recreate the success Bentonville and Northwest Arkansas seeing with outdoor tourism. All right, let's talk about some of the election season. No statewide race is bigger than the race for Arkansas governor. A new candidate has entered the race to unseat Governor Sanders. Colt Shelby has put his name as a candidate for the Libertarian Party. Party announced his nomination at its convention this past weekend. Shelby is the man, you'll remember, who sued Arkansas for the timeline in the state Senate District 26 special election. He must file for his candidacy by March 2nd. The only other candidates had filed so far are Governor Sanders and Democrat candidates Fred Love and Suffa Seprasith Mays. Primary election day will be a week away tomorrow, and early voting continues across the state. Now, this election season, a new rule has taken shape that will change how Democrats can vote in Republican primaries. Tanya Moderzitsky explains the changes and what you need to know before you go to the polls.
Before Arkansas voters ever touch a ballot, the choices they offer depend on party registration. Arkansas GOP is holding a partially closed primary, meaning not all voters are eligible to vote in the same races. Election officials say that distinction is more noticeable this year as voting numbers climb. What this means for voters in this election cycle is that registered Democrats are prohibited from voting in Republican primary races. This is a new rule. In the past, primary elections have been open, allowing voters to vote on either Republican or Democratic ballots. The Democrat primaries are still open. I spoke with Pulaski Circuit and County Clerk Terry Hollingsworth about a potential reason for this change.
It does not address voter fraud or whether or not it helps voters. It certainly helps the Republican Party know that those folks who are actually voting in their primary are actual Republicans, or at least have registered as Republicans.
Now, if you are registered nonpartisan, you can vote on either ballot. Hollingsworth says there is time to change party affiliations if you wish.
Someone can go to the voting polls and they can actually switch their party if they want to. But I would tell you that by and large, most people are registered optional on the voter registration data. There are some who've actually put Republican or Democrat, but they can also see that information if they pull up VoterView.
That was Tanya Moderzitsky reporting. Meanwhile, we have learned there has been a misprinting error on ballots in Johnson County. Johnson County Election Commission has confirmed the original ballot said that the West Side School District was seeking an increase of 5 mills from the current levy rate. The district made us aware of the misprint last week. They are not seeking a rate increase, rather the same levy rate they've been before. Now the county says this correction will be placed at each ballot machine to notify people of the correct wording. To see where you can find early voting sites in Johnson County and information for each race in next week's election, text the word VOTE 7855000. We will send you back a link to our full March election guide.